Is Trek the Himalayas really as good as they claim? Well, every trekking company looks perfect online, but what is really happening on ground? The food, the stay, the guides, the coordination. I am here to spill the tea. I chose Trek the Himalayas for my Valley of Flower trek, and today I'm gonna be sharing the inside stories so that you can decide if they're worth your trust and your money. Hello my fellow footprints, welcome to the channel. I am Meenakshi and today I am answering, is Trek the Himalayas really worth it? Valley of Flowers, August 25 edition. Before I start with my review, let me share why did I choose TTH in the first place.
Why God, why?
Honestly, my first preference was India hikes. I'd heard great things about them and really wanted to experience their way of organizing treks. But all their slots were full.
There are no accidents.
As they say, जो होता है अच्छे के लिए ही होता है. TTH seemed to be the next best option. So I decided to take a bet on them for my Valley of Flower trek. And what followed was quite an experience, especially with the unpredictable weather and challenges that came our way. And that is where their true strengths and weakness showed up. The Valley of Flower trek itself is a magical one, a UNESCO World Heritage Site with meadows of Sundar wildflowers and serene Hemkund Sahib. It balanced challenges with beautiful magical scenery. But this time around, we got more than just the views. We got a real test of logistic and adaptability. But I'll come to that at the end of the video. For now, let's break down my review in few categories. And of course, this video is time-stamped, so feel free to jump around. Let's start with the organization and management. The payment process was pretty smooth and straightforward. The payment portal worked without any glitches and I got an email confirmation almost immediately. Then they formed a WhatsApp group for the batch and followed up with us on documents and health certificates, etc., which I really appreciated. So they seemed to be pretty streamlined and professional right from the beginning. About 20 days before the trek, they arranged for a briefing call where they walked us through on the routes, what to expect each day, the packing list with respect to clothes, snacks, medicines for the high altitude, the do's and the don'ts, followed by Q&A. It was a crazy 2.5-hour session, but they answered every single question. When the trek began, their ground staff was equally solid. I'd rate them a 9 out of 10. Now coming to accommodation. At People Koti, which was their first stay, I was actually impressed. The rooms were clean, well maintained, overall very comfortable. Indeed a good start to the journey. But at the base camp Ghangaria, the experience dipped. It was honestly below basic. Thankfully, it was just two of us who were sharing the room, which was meant to be shared between 3 people, which would have made it unlivable. So maybe this is one area where TTH can consider improving, considering the fact that other hotels in the area were offering better accommodation at the same price point. So I'd rate them a 5.5 out of 10 for accommodation. The food on the other hand was the highlight. Right from the very beginning, the food was tasty, nutritious and to die for. I still remember the sevaiyan served at People Koti were बहुत ठूसा मैंने. And even when we reached the base camp, the food continued to amaze us. They had their own cook who ensured that we were served freshly prepared food. Great breakfast, soups, snacks, packed lunches and hot dinners. That's what our meal was. So I'd rate them a solid 8 out of 10 for food. Irrespective of everything, the trek leader is the one who either makes or breaks your trek experience. And ours was honestly a lighthouse. She was checking our oxygen levels, guiding us through rough patches, and motivating us when the trail got treacherous. Personally, what I loved the most was how she opened up about her own journey, being a female trek lead, the challenges that she faced, and how she manages them all just like a pro. She was caring and approachable, yet strict where the strictness was needed. So my experience with her was a perfect 10 on 10. Price-wise, both companies are very comparable and competitive. But what matters the most is the value that they provide for that price. Now, you do have an option to plan a trek like Valley of Flowers on your own. But here's the thing. The weather in the mountains is highly unpredictable. In my own trek, we were stuck between heavy rains and landslides. The plan had to be changed on the spot from accommodation to routes, and doing all that solo would have been really overwhelming. This is where an experienced company really makes a difference. They have the local knowledge, contacts, and ground staff who can coordinate quickly in such situations. And it brings the much needed peace of mind and safety, which was of huge value to me. As promised, coming back to the weather challenges and how TTH really stood out for us. On our very first day, there was a cloud burst in Uttarkashi. And we were experiencing heavy rains in Peoplekoti. There were at least 3 major landslides on our way up to the base camp. There were discussions of cancelling this trek altogether. The Valley of Flowers was already closed by the government. The next day, we had to leave at 7 am, but the departure was nowhere in sight. हम सब दुखी आत्माओं के जैसे वहाँ घूम रहे थे, not knowing what's in store for us, and praying to all possible gods. That's when Mr. Deepak and our knight in shining armor came into the picture. The moment the landslide cleared, he immediately moved us from Peoplekoti towards base camp, crossing a rough patch called Pagal Nala, which goes all psycho mode during rains. I know the name is funny, but trust me, the situation was not funny at all. It was thanks to him that we made it through. Of course, because of the delays, we had to halt for the night, and that meant we lost one whole day. And that's where TTH stepped up. They extended our trek by another day and took care of all the extra arrangements. And the lost day was not really lost. We still found our way to fun and enjoyment by exploring local temple and dancing with the school kids. And here's the real difference. All the groups we saw at Peoplekoti who didn't make the move when they had the chance to got stuck there. On top of that, Valley of Flower was again closed for 5 days from 10th to 15th of August, which means all the people who went few days before us or after us came empty-handed or disappointed. So yeah, we were not just a very well supported group, but also a very, very lucky one. All in all, TTH really won our respect. They not only managed the situation very calmly and efficiently, but also ensured that we, as trekkers, didn't have to worry about the chaos around. They turned what could have been a very disappointing trip into an adventure that we'll remember forever. One of the biggest positives that stood out to me about TTH was their safety first approach. To be honest, it was a little annoying at times because we were all excited and pumped up to make the best out of this trek and explore as much as we can. We were even pushing to trek at night to compensate for that one lost day. But looking back, I am glad that there was someone enforcing safety on us. Left to ourselves, we could have gone a little reckless, and in mountains, it is never a good idea. Other things that I want to highlight is their medical vigilance, quick response to emergencies. Remember People Koti and Pagal Nala? Great trek leaders, solid meals, and of course logistic. Last but definitely not the least is excellent value for your money. Now, if I have to point out one thing that could be improved, it would be the stay at the base camp Ghangaria. But it is such a small speck in a bigger scheme of things that it doesn't really matter. और वैसे भी बड़े बड़े लोगों को ऐसी छोटी मोटी बातों से फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. We were all happy that we could see and do everything that we set out to do. My final verdict? Yes, TTH is worth all the hype and much more. They efficiently navigated monsoon disruptions while ensuring that we didn't miss a single highlight. TTH definitely scores high for me. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are interested in experiencing the whole Valley of Flowers journey, then stay tuned. If you have your own experiences with TTH, please drop them in comment box to help other fellow trekkers. Until we meet again, keep moving forward, one footprint at a time. Ciao!